United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll call this regular board meeting to order. Roll call shows all present except for Dawn, who should probably be here shortly. And we have the July 5th, 2018 regular board meeting minutes. Any comments, corrections?
I'll make a motion to approve.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I would abstain.
I'm abstaining also.
Me
I
too.
wasn't here.
I was gonna say, if we get 3 abstaining, well, I think that's approved. So, Julie made the motion, Jeannie second. We don't have any agenda changes. License permits for 2018-2019 operator's license. We got Abby Hiddle, Autumn Gill, Michael Pankall, and Brittany Jennerjud. They have had approval of the police department?
I would make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Bethany.
Bethany.
I seconded it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Kelly motion, Jeannie second. Pre-registered citizens. Jim, I guess you're the only one on there, so Jim Flake. You're up.
Oh, I'm up already. That's
Yep.
nice.
You got 5 minutes.
They wrote my name down 5 times. The reason I'm here, I missed one of the meetings you had about that wheel tax. So where are you guys with that wheel tax? That's what I'm asking.
It is on hold for right now.
Well, the reason I'm asking, the wheel tax is what it comes to, a nickel a day. It's kind of a no-brainer to me. I mean, all the municipalities around here are doing it. But I'm wondering, you have 14 miles of roads, a lot of them are in disarray, some need to be replaced. I don't know, what is your budget for roads, Carl, a year?
I budget 20,000, of which 10 probably goes towards street sweeping.
But, you know, that nickel tax, I mean, a nickel, that's a coffee cup a month for a person. But with that money, I mean, you could maintain your roads. What are you gonna do in 5 or 6 years? You need hundreds of thousands of dollars to repair these roads. Are you gonna raise taxes to get this money? Where's this money gonna come from? That's my concern. Over a wheel tax that, after you implement it, next year it's forgotten about. You know, it's so a cheap cost to the citizens, it's ridiculous. But I feel that money, you can maintain your roads with that income that's coming in from that wheel tax.
Jim, how do you arrive at the, just for my own
Question.
Yes, you're not supposed to have discussion on these.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I thought, like I said, I was busy that night. If I'd have known that it was getting shot down, I definitely would have made an appointment to be here, you know. I just think it's a no-brainer. Because I'm just concerned, what, you get 50,000, 60,000 a year from that income, at 20 bucks a hit? I mean, that you could keep up to your roads. You know, because I'm building a subdivision, 130-acre subdivision, and I'm trying to sell lots out there, you know, and I don't want to see your taxes going up anymore to maintain what you have. So you can't comment on none of that?
Sorry.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
just for you to put your 5 minutes in.
Okay, well, I hope that the village would revisit that and think strongly about that, because it's ridiculously cheap. And anybody that can't afford a nickel a day, I mean, come on. So I'm just worried about the future, because I drive out there and see the roads. I know the chief can't talk about them, but she's got to drive on them too. Just not. So, okay, that's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Committee reports, public facilities. We don't have anything at this time. No, so public safety. Are we going to have a meeting for the chickens sometime?
soon? You need an administrator for that?
Public Works, we have a meeting tonight.
We have a meeting tonight, and we will be discussing it under new business and under Carl's report.
Planning and zoning, we had a meeting, what, a couple weeks ago?
With,
Yeah. And that is also on the agenda for tonight, to be discussed. Library board,
We met July 10th, 2 new members joined us, continuing to get updates on summer library program, getting ideas about hours, kind of doing a number of things, subcommittees. We have finance and personnel subcommittee, so going well.
any questions or comments for Pat? Hearing none, Economic Development Committee, that's one that I was hoping Jim would be getting people together for a meeting on that, and I haven't heard whether she's got anything yet or not, but she's gone this week. I will talk to her next week and see how it's going. Senior Activities Committee.
We have another meeting coming up in August. We'll be holding that meeting at the Neal site. We thought it would be nice to go out in the community and meet in locations where maybe we can contact more seniors, trying to coordinate with other community services. I want to give a shout out to Chris from the seniors at the birthday party on Monday. They were thrilled that you stopped in at the potluck, I'm assuming it was. A couple of the women that I sat with were just so appreciative of you coming in and spending time.
Okay.
So that was good.
One thing I would like to bring up, we have some weather radios that we received from emergency management, so we're looking to try to maybe give them, I think we have 5 of them left. So if you have some seniors that you have in mind that have no cell phones.
Okay. Maybe we can get the word out on that potluck, or maybe through churches. I guess one of the frustrations we're having is trying to reach people. And we talked about this when you were on a 2G, we just have the same group and wanting to do more outreach. And of course, there's confidentiality. We can't get names, but a way to get word out, so.
And maybe if you want to stop that first Monday in August, the potluck, you can join us again.
Sounds great.
Let them know about these. If these people all have it, maybe they know people that don't. Any other questions or comments for Pat for the seniors? There's no unfinished business, so we'll go to new business. Award professional service contracts, Grandview Road reconstruction project. What do you want to take it?
We reviewed proposals from MSA, McMahon, and Cedar Corporation. All 3 are part of the engineering pool that was put together a number of years back. Both MSA and McMahon came in fairly comparable, within 1,000 of each other. The committee made a recommendation to award it to MSA. The professional service agreement, award the professional service agreement to MSA. Kelly, I think you have a copy on your desk, Kelly, if you want. It is lump sum engineering.
Hey. That's a good thing. Oh, here. Thank you.
Like I said, they were fairly apples for apples. Everything looked good. Ron's here. They did a good job of bidding it. In this instance, MSA was $1,000 cheaper, and we already throw a lot of work at Ron already. I feel bad, he's sitting over there. But the committee decided to award it to MSA. Even though they were $1,000 cheaper. MSA also, the committee feels they went above and beyond as well, getting the grant and reaching out to Senator Steinke. Little things like that.
Ron's done a lot of work for us in the past.
Yeah. And he will continue to do a lot of work.
I would make a motion to approve the professional agreement, service agreement for MSA for the 32 week.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Kelly moved, Julie second. Second on here is CU 1-18, 106 North Oak, parcel 240048,300. This is for the conditional use for the school, the building over on Oak Street here that they're going to use for a, what is it?
It's a health clinic.
Health clinic, yes. And it went before planning and zoning, and planning and zoning made the motion to recommend to the board for approval.
Yes, as a health clinic for its employees only.
Right. Employees and families.
Right. So it wouldn't be anything beyond that. It would be limited to that use.
Yeah, there'd be some changes interior, but nothing exterior.
And the only concern, there was one resident that came and talked, and they were concerned whether there's going to be a big parking lot in the back, and after hearing what it was all about, they had no concerns after that, so. So are you looking for a motion?
Yes. To approve the conditional use.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the conditional use, is it 1-18? For 106 North Oak Street, parcel 240048,300.
And I'll second it.
And then
Do you want more in that motion?
just for the minutes, to make it clear, I think that we should state that it is to be used strictly as a health clinic for its employees and families.
What Bob just said,
As
yeah.
we go back years from now, if there's a change in use, it should be clear.
So we'd like to amend it
And then
to
motion,
include what Bob stated here. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Julie moved, Jeannie second. Any other topics for future discussion?
I'd like to schedule a closed session for the next board meeting to discuss purchase and sell of village properties. How are you wording that, Bob?
did we ever figure out that ordinance number for the,
Yeah, we'll just throw it on the agenda.
Okay.
That and then the contracts. We were gonna
The
do
contracts are
first.
going to be on the next meeting, I
Yeah.
believe.
Next meeting also.
So we put it off for, because all of the absence.
Did you look through that list? Do you want me to get that out to all the members ahead of time, just so they
Yes.
see what we're have out there?
Yeah, we should.
There was one thing I'd like to know at a future board meeting. Not that it's that big of a deal because there's nothing we can do about it anymore, but when we went to the recycling, the mandatory recycling, we were told that it was going to reduce our waste by X amount of tons. Just curious as to if that actually came to fruition or if that's just,
I don't know how you quantify that. I mean,
they quantified it, I'm just curious.
Yeah,
what Harder's know? I suppose we're discussing.
we could ask,
I'm just curious as to
when
what.
every year we meet with Allegheny County Highway and landfill people, and,
We don't need to discuss it, I'm just curious as to.
As I said, they usually keep track of
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
what the
as to
tonnage just
what
comes
the-
in.
I'd really like to know what the effect was. Because we were promised.
no, that's a good question. I'm sure they have the data, everything's recorded down there.
They told us they did. Again, not that we're gonna do it, but I just don't know.
Speaking of contracts, the garbage contract runs through 2019, so next year we should start looking into
Exactly.
either a joint contract with Greenville, that was the plan all along, to maybe team up with them to get a better price, or at least we're gonna have to start looking next year prior to budget season.
Yep. Thanks, Bill.
Anything else for future discussion? Hearing none, we'll move on to report of village officials. First one that somebody's here is Director of Public Works.
Just a quick one about Wildland subdivision. They're expecting the streets to be curb and gutter and lower level asphalt to happen sometime in August, mid to late August. The letter of credit that the village requested for construction has been reduced from $775,000 down to $225,000. That's just an estimate of what we think it's going to take to finish off that subdivision. Not the final paving, but the curb and gutter and the paving. And also a biofilter installation. So again, their letter of credit's been reduced. Worked with Jason Bloxham and Jason Hain from Vans. So, that's really all I have on this more. Does anybody got any questions for me?
Where are we at with the Michael Richter purchase of that property? Is that something that we can talk about? It's not on the agenda, I was just curious.
We had those individual in the office, and I told them again what we can pay, what we can afford to pay, and they were going to go back and discuss it some more with their.
Okay, so it's a negotiation.
At this point, Ron's got it half designed roughly. The decision they make, I guess, Bob, it doesn't have to be made right now. We're not going to do any assessments till next year. So while they have time, we certainly would hope that sooner than better than later.
Just curious, Carl, as to where we're at.
They haven't made a decision on it.
It's still pending.
That's fine, that's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Anything else for Carl?
Did you want to inform the board members that weren't here about the drop-off site?
Oh, yeah. We, as I mentioned at the Reservoir Bank, we've been having a lot of issues with what we call illegal dumping. It's not like refrigerators and stuff like that. It's just people outside the municipality are bringing yard waste to the drop-off site down by the wastewater plant. And that is adding up to a lot of expense that's being borne by our taxpayers, not Dale or Ellington or Hortonville. And some of the solutions we had while they're built slow is closing the site after 3:30 during the week and maybe running every other Saturday, being open for 3 to 5 hours. There's just really no easy solutions.
Oh, I have no problem at all with that.
The brush pile that we had down there last time, we had received quotes close to $7,000 for grinding that stuff up. There was talk of, well, why don't we just hit a chipper? Chipping is very dangerous unless you cut the limbs yourself to the length you like. If you're trying to stick 2 and 3 foot boards and limbs into a chipper, you're more than likely going to follow along with it. So I don't like chipping up stuff that people bring down there and stack and whine you. So it's just way too dangerous. I won't do it. So it would have to be either crushed or hauled out. So
Yes.
anyhow, some of our solutions are to educate the public, our residents, and also reach out to the neighboring communities. Me and Julie are going to work on that and contact them and see if they can notify their residents not to come over here with the brush. Yard waste, like grass clippings and leaves, that's never been an issue. We still are going to maintain our compost site, close out the one and get going on the other. But it's just the volume of limbs, trees and limbs and logs and stumps that people from outside the community are bringing in here. We just cannot afford it.
We also mentioned maybe even revisiting the dumping, the illegal dumping.
We're going to look at the ordinance
Just visit it.
just to see if it's a penalty is stepping on. I know me and Bob had worked on that ordinance back in 11 or 12. I just can't recall how much it is right now. Chris probably doesn't know. She just started. So.
Do we have it stated anywhere on the website or anything what it means to be a resident? Because my husband might chase somebody out of there from.
I know you. I mentioned to the committee that you had issues. Even when our officers are down there, they get a lot of grief stating that, well, I have a Hortonville address and I'll
And that's what they just kept saying, you said.
Yeah.
If you don't pay taxes here, you're not a Hortonville resident. You have a Hortonville post.
I've told them I've got people putting rags over their license plates when they come down there. And these are rich people.
Is that a public facilities issue?
No, it's public works issue.
Oh, we should come up with a solution. I mean, if it's gonna be inconvenient for everybody, but it saves the community money, that's what we should do.
Well, we decided, that while the gate's not going up tomorrow, the gate closing it at 3:30 is something Greenville's doing as well. They're just, and they have fees, but it's just, it's people from the neighboring community. Greenville's seen an uptick in it.
We've been talking about this for years,
Yeah.
and we just need to put a stop to it.
The cost is just,
Absolutely.
we can't afford to cover these other communities.
No.
Anything else? We're, like I said, Julie said, we're gonna revisit the penalty. I know there is one, I just can't tell you what the fee is.
I couldn't find it.
Right
I
off
couldn't
the-
find it, Bob. You'd think under chapter 8, but then I looked under chapter 9 and I couldn't find it.
But even so, we can't have an officer down there 24/7.
No, we just line up. Absolutely.
Yes?
Would it be possible if we did some juggling with the agenda, so that
All
I
we'd have to do
can
is,
say what happened at the Hortonville Wesleyan Fire District before I have to get out of here?
Things you have to leave, yes.
People are on their way.
all Carl's got to do is look at
Okay, are you done?
Yeah.
We are
the file,
moved down to Hortonville County Fire District, seeing Kelly has to leave.
because I used to.
We have our Hortonville, Hortonville Fire District. Two things of note. One, they're going to be looking for, my notes are correct, I could be wrong, but they're going to be looking for an increase in their budget. And I think it was for the medical supplies, it was the $12,000 budget. They want to kick it up. Apparently it's been $12,000, again, my apologies, that first meeting there, it was unbelievably long. I think they want to kick it up to about $16,000, like $4,000 increase, so we're gonna see that add up during our budgeting. But the bigger thing was, they call everything as an acronym, SCBA, which is a self-contained breathing apparatus. Apparently the self-contained breathing apparatuses that these guys have had, they got them in 1998. They had 3 companies come by and drop off self-contained breathing apparatuses, and they kind of tested them and worked with them and felt them and went through what they liked and what they didn't like. The notes that I have, and I'll hand this out to everybody, the notes that they had on the pros and cons, they liked the MSA. I only have the MSA quote, the other quotes I don't have yet, but they tell me that the MSA quote was in fact the highest. But when these guys are the guys that are running into burning buildings, and this is what keeps them alive, I'm not all that sure I want to argue with what they should or shouldn't have. The number on it is about 148. We would still have, they would like to purchase it this year. I'm not sure how we're going to do it. We'd probably have to take out a loan, I'm guessing, but I would leave that up to Jane. I think it's whatever the division is between Hortonville and Hortonia. Hortonia is talking to their board as well. I don't know if
It's roughly 60/40.
60/40,
Yeah.
so whatever 60% of 148 is, they're in need.
About 90,000.
Yeah. They're in need, the ones that they have are 20 years old. It's something we're gonna have to deal with. 148,309. what the number was. So it's not for, obviously, discussion tonight, but as the representative, I was tasked to bring that to everyone's attention. It's be something we're going to have to figure out for these guys, and hopefully they'll last another 20 years. But, you know, it's a big chunk of money that we're not going to find in the budget, I'm sure. We also talked about the division between Hortonville and Hortonia. Talked about it for way longer than we should have, because there's nothing that we can do about it. It's something that's going to happen, possibly, and it's going to have to be dealt with probably next year. Doesn't sound like it's a done deal yet. We're it's a possibility that it isn't. The guy, I forget the guy's from, the board member from Hortonville, I think he's the president. Yeah, he was there, and I got the impression that he is completely against this, but I could be wrong. He doesn't say one. I just wanted to bring this to everybody's attention just because it's a big budget issue that we're gonna have to deal with. And it's something that they need.
Didn't we talk a year or so ago, and maybe I'm cloudy on the memory on it, about a lot of insurance companies, like if you have a fire call at your house, the insurance company will pay the fire department. I know that, wasn't that, did we talk about that at one point?
We talked about the possibility of charging residents for fire calls.
Okay.
I don't think we ever came to a conclusion about it. I know we talked about it, and I don't know how universal that is.
I don't know.
I know we just discussed it, and it was something that we could, maybe that could offset some of the costs that would be incurring with something like this.
Because I think it was like a home insurance kind of thing, like homeowner's insurance would cover that cost. It's just something that, I don't know.
We'd have to look into that.
Yeah, we've talked about that through the years off and on, I think. My recollection is
I was gonna say, we used to have it, but then it was taken off.
the administration of it, I think, was if I remember right, who would administer that?
Yeah, I think you're right. There was a lot of paperwork involved. I think you're right.
Okay.
All right, does anybody have any questions? I know, fun, here's a $148,000 bill, there you go. If not, I gotta go put a freaking water on that
Okay.
body. Something along those lines, something along those lines. And, they had talked about, going out for a loan, and they had like a 4.8%. They actually gone and talked to some banks, and they was like, nah, I think we can get like 3.5 over here. It was a hell of a lot. I know the last time we were here at Jane or whoever said it was a 3.5% interest rate, but it was like,
Grants for that.
they have gone through all the grants and all the possibilities of grants. That was the first question I asked, were they have grants? And they were like, no, we've done it. We've written, I want to say they said it was 2 or 3, and they just, the grants are drying up.
Sure.
Something to consider too when they look at division of assets too, because
Well, yeah, always, absolutely. I mean, now's the time we're gonna buy it, we still have Hortonia involved, I mean,
yeah, exactly.
get them to pitch in a little bit before they skedaddle.
Consider that when we pay them, if we pay them.
My apologies for having to take it early. Hopefully you're not gonna get too long.
And Joey is being accused of 657.
Sorry, guys. Thanks, everybody have a nice weekend.
And we will move it back up to our police chief. Chris, do you have anything for us?
We are getting together for the National Night Out, which is going to be Tuesday, August 7th. This year it's going to be at the Commercial Club Park from 7 o'clock, from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. They're having hamburgers, hot dogs, brats, chips, water, soda, cookies. They're looking at a bouncy house. They're looking at doing a taser demonstration. So pretty soon you're going to see the yard signs coming up, announcements on Facebook and things like that. So Andrew, Brian, and Julie have been arranging everything. So it's always a fun time to get the community together and do that. So Commercial Club Park. On Monday night, Brian attended the school board meeting and they secured the SRO position for the Greenville and the Hortonville schools. So that contract has been approved and signed. They agreed to Hortonville having a .1 SRO and Greenville having the .5. I think maybe at a later date, they might look up, having that point, or that 1 point position over in Greenville, so that they would have 2 full-time eventually there. So that would be our next goal. So looks like they're gonna open it up in February for the bidding contract. So you might get involved in February. Not sure, but I guess from my past experiences in and seeing how they go. Usually once you have somebody in there and if you like them, you stay with them, so. Basically, the SROs are on a daily, they're paid for how many days. So I believe that Brian's there roughly 194 days out of the year. And so that's a whole day. And Brian Hauser is there for a half a day. So it's a scheduling battle for us for Brian Hauser because of the .5, because the school wants him there so many days a week in the morning, just greeting at the Greenville schools, and that they want him so many afternoons at 3:30 for the greeting also. So, but we figure it out. So, union negotiations are going to be starting soon because the union contract expires at the end of this year. So, so Russ and I have been talking a little bit. We've met once already, and so we get that ball rolling.
I'd already asked Peter, he would want to join the negotiations, and he said yes, and we'll put that on for the next agenda to make it official for the whole board. But then we'll all have to meet to see what we're going to discuss with them from our standpoint.
That's it.
Any questions or comments for Chris? Hearing none, library director?
Just a couple updates. We have a big program coming up on the 28th. We have a school science teacher coming to teach different science things like dry ice and physical stuff. And then we have our end of summer party on August 18th. That's from 10 to 2. The Friends is doing an ice cream social. We're going to have some rock painting, which Bricks Harbor is donating supplies for that. And then just an update for our summer program, which we're right in the middle of. So far, with all the reading logs turned in, we have 3,630 hours counted for just kids and teens, and 135 books read by adults. And this is just from beginning of June till now, which is fantastic. So 3,600 hours is fantastic. So, and that's it.
Any questions or comments for Ally? Move to adjourn.
I wanted to report on Douglas Street property. We had obtained an inspection warrant from Judge Gill. And we went over there Tuesday afternoon to view the property. Given the state of the outside of the premises, we thought that the inside should be inspected as well, and it was a disaster. So Paul Hanlon has placed a placard on the property now that it's not habitable. I'm not really sure if the prior owner, how often he's there. There were 2 animals there, which Chris and the chief helped with, and those were taken by Humane Society.
Humane Society, Animal Control.
So Paul Hanlon's writing up a report at this time, and the plan is to ask the court for a nuisance for determination that we would go ahead and do the cleanup. At least as to anything outside, the noxious weeds, grass, there's piles of garbage and wood and stuff outside where you end up with vermin. And the inside is well to a certain extent to remove mold and things like that. I would think that we're not going to do more than necessary just to deal with the public nuisance aspect from a health or safety standpoint. Beyond that, I checked the records again, and that property is still owned on record by Gateway Diversified Mortgages or something like that out of West Palm Beach, Florida. And I made another effort to get a hold of them, and their prior address, or the address on the tax bill actually now, is occupied by somebody else. And it's a suite, they're in suite 100, and so I talked to the other occupant today, and they have no idea who that is. So it may very well be, a mortgage company that took the judgment and actually owns property is non-existent at this point in time. So, that property, it's not, the building itself is a good structure, so it may very well be that it just sits there. We'll put our costs, whatever we incur here, that's going to be a special charge on the property, so we're on the tax roll. And, after a number of years of non-payment of taxes, it's going to come up for a sale, and then maybe somebody will buy it at some price and get in there. But I don't know that there's any way of speeding it up if the property is not, it's not something that should be raised. It's actually a really good-looking house at one time, but.
So there's no minimum amount of time you have to wait then, you don't know?
Oh, for taxes?
Yeah, you
Well,
said
that-
waiting for years.
Yeah, well, right, the treasurer will not foreclose on a property for non-payment of taxes until at least 3 years go by.
Okay.
I'll talk to him. I don't know if there's any exceptions to that, because the taxes are current at this point. I don't think they're delinquent. Maybe the 17th haven't been paid. That's all I know.
So we hire someone to do the cleanup, and then it's put on the tax bill?
We haven't decided yet on how we're going to do the cleanup.
Yeah,
Carl and
the
I
problem
haven't
is-
talked.
Covering the upfront costs. It's weird that you say the lien holders disappeared.
Can't find them.
Well, couldn't somebody just move in then and free house, I guess?
Well, I think that the prior owner is kind of doing that to a certain extent. I mean, it's his dogs there presumably.
Yeah.
They were
And
dogs. Yeah.
there's some
Yeah,
sign that he was going back and forth, right?
Yeah, we think that the last time that he collected his mail was on or about July 13th.
Yeah, I mean, the foreclosure was last year, so this has been going on a long time, but the refuse and the normal garbage containers, the new ones, are just sitting there. They've never been used. So the garbage is either outside or inside, to the extent that he's been there. There was a lot of animal waste inside.
I'm sure Public Works could do some stuff, but I just don't have enough money to contract out to clean it.
No, that's just it. I mean, we don't want to incur a lot of expense, but I think we owe it to everybody, I mean, from the public health and the safety standpoint. We got mold, and that's the easy part. But there's so much junk there. The junk has to be removed. There's wood piles,
Cars.
trucks, lawn tractor, tools, just everything is thrown around. Unless we can put some of that stuff inside, maybe. We'll do what we can to cut corners, keep the costs down.
So now this person still gets to come into this home though, even after we clean it up?
Well,
Or
no.
are they banned?
No, not banned. So, I mean, that person wouldn't be any different than you or me, Jeannie. We'd technically be trespassing, but if the owner of the property used to be in West Palm Beach, Florida, and now I don't know where they are, and who's going to file the trespass complaint? I don't know that we want to be presumptive and say it's trespassing, without some direction by the owner.
Yeah, we don't have a complaint.
So it's a new problem, never seen it before.
That's very strange.
That company, for what it's worth, if you can look at it, it's Gateway something, okay. But anyway, the FTC has filed legal action against them. They were fairly big, they're in multiple states. As far as the write-ups on them, pretty horrendous. One guy said if you want to die, you should go to their phone system, and he was pretty close. Yeah. So I don't know.
Does he call it all about the dogs?
I don't know where.
There's nothing we can do with the mail, unless we can, because we can't.
He's coming, he's apparently coming and getting the mail because the house was full of mail on the counter. So he's getting his mail.
Yep.
Is the house?
But he can't help us at all anyway, because, I mean, he's a former owner, he's foreclosed on, he's just actually,
So when you gained access to the inside of the house, how did you lock it back up? Was there a new lock put on, a padlock? Is
no,
it-
actually, the door was open
Oh, okay.
after we had warrant, but it was,
Oh.
and actually, it wasn't even, it was literally ajar. Yeah,
Okay.
So he's essentially squatting.
yes. But whether or not he even, continues to do that, it's another problem of its own now because of the, I just thought that the mortgage company is slow, that they do, this wasn't, I think this company might have taken an assignment, wasn't the original one, and they pass it along, but of record, they're still the owner, and that's the problem.
There's no power and there's no electric in that house either. Or, and the water's been shut off a while ago. I mean, you can see that the toilets were all dried up. And,
But there were dogs. Dogs.
but yeah, and I did open up the refrigerator and probably I shouldn't have done that, but just a ton of flies came out of it. But, I mean, so there has been no power in that residence for some time. So I can't see that he's living in there. I think that it was just a place to house the dogs. But now the dogs aren't there. I'm gonna try to make contact with him tomorrow. We're just kind of waiting to see if he shows up because the Humane Society, the animal humane officer posted on the door, that she's got the dogs and where the dogs are. Because they're trying to figure out what the names of the dogs are and stuff like that. So they have concerns concerning the animals. I mean, and that was probably one of my biggest complaints or concerns with the animals because they were locked in a room away from their food and everything else. So we may have pending charges for him too. Dogs weren't licensed, so we'll probably issue citations for dogs not being licensed, things like that, so.
I know I don't know if there was judgment yet, but he was issued a lot of citations during the past year for the condition of the property.
I believe there was 46 of them.
Yeah, so we were trying to get the occupants' cooperation in taking care of the property, but that didn't accomplish anything.
Anything else?
No, that's all.
Any other questions or comments for Tom? Hearing none. Building permit report was in our packet last time. We'll go on to presentation of accounts and other claims against the village. We have the auto pay and the wires and checks 24989 through 25054 for $88,926.98. Direct deposits of $41,406.95. That was for payroll for a grand total of $130,333.93. Water and sewer utility vouchers 10350 through 10357 for $5,739.28.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Aye.
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 Motion by Julie, second by Dawn. Communication and miscellaneous business. Blackwater Lake District News All I have is that we are out harvesting, and I didn't count, but we have approximately 25 loads of vegetation that we've taken out of the lake so far. And our annual meeting will be the last Monday in August. I believe that's the 27th at 6 o'clock. Any questions or comments?
What are the divers doing?
They are removing Eurasian milfoil.
Oh,
There's actually 2 spots that they have it. From what I had seen on the map, I thought the one they're working on is the smaller one, and wouldn't have taken them this long, but apparently it's larger than what it looks like on the map. The one on the other side of the island is about 2.5 to 3 times the size of the one on this side of the island. They had been contracted for 10 acres, so all of that should be covered under the contract. Any other questions or comments? Now we already gave the Hortonville Hortonia, Old Cross Ambulance was last time, downtown business, we don't have anything, Hortonville Civic Association.
Just a couple of things. Our capital campaign we're working with Carl on to increase the upgrades to Miller Park and Alonso Park. So far, we've received $56,000 in donations and pledges. So Carl and I will figure out how we're going to spend that over the next 2 to 3 years. Our total goal is $125,000, so we're well on our way.
The donor wishes to remain private.
Yeah, there's a major donor in this whole thing, so that person wishes to remain anonymous. So Carl and I are working on some plans, and hopefully within the next 2 to 3 months we'll be able to present to the board. We should go through public works.
Public works.
Yeah.
I think also we've seen the plans we had for Miller, but that may get scaled back. The same vision is intended for Miller, but it might be a longer term process if we switch scope, I guess.
The other thing I want to say is that I don't know how you feel about the Fox West Chamber, but apparently there are a lot of people that are dissatisfied with the chamber and its inattentiveness to deal with the businesses in Hortonville. It seems they've shifted their focus more toward the Greenville area. So what we've decided to do as part of the Hortonville Civic Association is enter into membership. We're going to do a membership drive to entice local families or a small pittance business owners or prior business owners that have sold out.
Sold out more ways than one.
More ways than one is right. So we're gonna try that probably in November, and that's basically all I have.
Any questions or comments for Peter? Hearing none, move on to comments and suggestions from citizens present. And we are open for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second
Hey,
it.
Ron, don't take off.
Say aye.
Signed by Al.
Opposed? Motion by Julie, second by Jeannie.
Let's see.